Anyone who knows me knows that I'm a massive fucking weirdo. What they may not know is that a sizable chunk of my obscene faggotry can be traced back to the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series. I played the first game when I was about 10, and oh boy did it heavily impact my already damaged psyche. I mean, just the idea alone of transforming into a Pokemon, how could that not warp your imagination? These games portrayed Pokemon not as semi-sentient animals like in the show, but as intelligent anthropomorphized beings with their own emotions and problems. Anyone who played these games as a kid was kind of doomed to grow up, learn about Yif, and have no qualms blasting mad rope to Pokemon forums. I remember way back in 2006, around the release of the game, a special episode of Pokemon was also released on TV that outlined the intro of the game. I remember an old YouTube poop called Tourette's Mystery Dungeon or something like that, where someone just overlaid Tourette's guy sounds onto the episode, and I thought it was the funniest thing ever. It was probably made in like 2007, and I just can't really find it no matter how hard I look. It must have been taken down. The Mystery Dungeon game format has existed since the SNES. The core gameplay loop is so simple that it hasn't changed much in over a decade. You explore randomized floors in a dungeon where you wander aimlessly through rooms and hallways, looking for a staircase to the next level. All the while, hostile Pokemon attack you one after another. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. If you ask anyone what the Mystery Dungeon game's strength was, they'll tell you that it certainly wasn't the gameplay, it was the story. Ah yeah, the story.
Pounding it.
The plot in these games have slow build-ups, but end powerfully and can leave you in tears if you're invested enough. Let me jump into the story and explain. So at the beginning of these games, you take a cool personality test with an awesome background and soothing music. You transform into a different Pokemon depending on your answers. Then you select and name your partner. Then you are unceremoniously knocked out, given severe amnesia, and tossed into the Pokemon world. Your partner stumbles across you and wakes you up before you team up and start a rescue team. Rescue teams are a common occupation in this world since it recently started falling apart with mystery dungeons popping up all over the place that Pokemon get lost and confused in. You have a few adventures and eventually learn of a dude called Xatu who could help you out of your peculiar predicament. He tells you about an old legend involving a dumb human whomst fucked with the Ninetales whomst then cursed him. The curse hit his Gardevoir instead, who jumped in the way to protect him. The human would go on to transform into a Pokemon and bring chaos to the Pokemon world. While Xatu recounts the tale, this Gengar douche that you fucked up earlier for being a douche overhears it and the next day spreads rumors about it in the town square. The local population arrives at the totally logical conclusion that since you used to be a human, you must be the cursed human from the legend and that it's your fault that the world is falling apart. So they do what anyone else would do. They form a lynch mob to kill you. Even in the face of a lynch mob, your stalwart partner has your back and you both leave to find Ninetales. You go through several dungeons and murder the legendary bird trio and eventually find Ninetales, who tells you that you are not the human from the legend. The strongest rescue team hunting you down is with you when this happens, and you all go home and placate the mob. A few days pass and you murderfuck Groudon before Xatu warns you about a meteor that's coming to murderfuck the planet. Apparently, only you and your partner can stop it, so both of you need to go up into the clouds to find Rayquaza and get him to blow up the meteor. The night before you set off, Gardevoir appears in your dreams again and tells you that this is the reason you became a Pokemon. Once your duty is fulfilled, you will cease to exist in this world and resume life as a human. You wake up and go into the clouds on an emotional final adventure with the best friend you've ever had. You don't have the heart to tell him that this is the last time you guys will be together. The music is so fitting for this level, as you trek upwards through the sky on your last journey. You find Rayquaza at the top of the stratosphere and proceed to murder fuck him.
That's a lot of damage!
After wrestling the jabroni into submission, you coerce him into blowing up the meteor for you, and everyone is knocked out in the aftermath. Gengar saves you guys from near death in the Shadow Realm and gets you and your partner back to the surface. You abruptly start to disintegrate in front of your partner, who is now losing his shit and crying his eyes out.
Cockball! 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 Oh shit, what up? Cockball!
The credits roll as everyone mourns your loss. Some mysterious force hears all the pain over your disappearance and revives you after a day or two. You reappear behind your partner as he mopes around the team base and you both hug. The end. Unlike a lot of other games I've played, there is quite a bit of post-game content where you can explore more dungeons and murderfuck more legendaries. Gardevoir's subplot is even tied up when it is revealed that Gengar was the cursed human. He even begs you to help him find Gardevoir's corpse and lift the curse. Before I go further, I just want to give a shout out to the soundtrack for these games. It's phenomenal and you should listen to it, you musically illiterate swine! Oh shit! Hail Satan! 2 years later, in 2008, Explorers of Time and Darkness was released. It's a marked improvement on the first game that basically boils down to more Pokemon, more dungeons, and more plot. The story is vaguely similar to the first game, only this time you come from the future with your partner Grovyle to stop the collapse of time, and as usual you transform into a Pokemon with amnesia. The Explorer games are all around better than the first ones in the series, but for some reason I remember the Rescue Team games more fondly. Which explains why I'm giving them more video time! Probably because I played them first, but I'll be the first to admit that they're outclassed by the sequel in every way. I won't drone on about the story this time, but I can condense it down to meet partner, join Rescue Team Guild, fight old partner Grovyle, go to future, get back, get woke, murder fuck a ton of bosses and finally die out and save the world, die because you rewrote the future, get resurrected and teleport behind your partner, hug, the end, wait, massive amounts of post-game content, and turns out Darkrai planned out all the events in the game, but who cares, let me get to the part in the review where I can shit on the gameplay for giving me AIDS. I mentioned earlier that the gameplay is repetitive, painfully so. That's all there is to say. It's entertaining when you're a dumb kid, but after playing through both games as a grizzled geriatric, even with an emulator capable of fast forward, I still want to die. I can love the games for the great stories they tell, but at the same time I reserve the right to be disgusted with the gameplay. Speaking of disgust, let's transition into our porn review. Ah yeah! So the thing about the Mystery Dungeon games is that they use the Pokemon IP, so without the context of the story you're essentially just looking at Poke-porn. So the porn boils down to NPCs you interact with throughout the games, but it looks like there's really only porn to the Explorer games, so that's what we're stuck with, not that I'm complaining. Yeah, so Blitzstratchen is one of the few good artists for Mystery Dungeon shit, unless it's like Laser Guide with this Dialga thing. That's pretty good. I think I put it earlier in the review. Other than that, it's just a bunch of regular Poke-porn. I mean, unless you use Grovyle. That's pretty much about it. I mean, like, yeah, there's this one thing, like, about inside the partner or the main character in Sharpedo Bluff. It's like a location in the game. Just a bunch of regular Pokemon just hammering away, dude. That's all there is to it. Yeah, just more Grovyle shit. Huh. Oh my god. Oh Jesus. This is fucked up. Ah, yeah, there we go. There's like 2 actual NPCs. That's pretty good. It's alright. I'll give it that. Dusknoir's got a massive cock. I think that's about it. I mean, now we're just in the regular Poke-porn territory. Oh my god. What is that?
Stop it.
Jesus Christ!
Boy,